Quick recap, Goku died on that hill. Not to Raditz. Raditz lasted 8 seconds. He died because he opened the door to cross 12 meters and save his son, and once Raditz was gone, there was nothing left on that hill to push against, so the thing turned around and came for him. He took it up out of the atmosphere and let it go where there was nothing to hurt. Nothing came back down. Chi-Chi and Gohan got an empty sky and a story about a saint, and Piccolo, the only living witness, decided not to correct it. 2 systems out, Vegeta and Nappa heard a scouter reading climb and cut off mid-number, and heard about spheres that bring back the dead and made a plan. And Goku is on Snake Way, which is where this gets interesting. Because think about what King Kai actually gives Goku in the real story. A multiplier and a bomb made out of other people's energy. 2 power-ups, and this Goku does not need a power-up. He has never needed a power-up in his life. He's a man carrying an engine with no top on it who has spent 25 years learning to keep it in a box. So what could King Kai possibly have that's worth anything to him? Turns out, 2 things. And they're the most important techniques in this entire series, and neither one does what you think it does. Snake Way's fine. It takes months. It's boring. We've all seen it. Moving on. What matters is what happens in the first 10 minutes on that little planet before a single push-up gets done, because King Kai looks at him. Not measures him, looks at him. And King Kai is the North Kai. He's not a martial arts instructor who happens to live in the afterlife. He's an administrator with access to the records of a quarter of the universe going back further than anybody on Earth can count. He's read about things nobody alive has seen, and he stands there in front of a cheerful dead farmer in an orange gi and goes very, very quiet. Then he says it out loud, legendary Super Saiyan. And that's the first time in 25 years that anybody has put a name to it. Grandpa Gohan died not knowing. Roshi spent 8 years standing in a valley made of glass with no explanation, and then 8 more years training the explanation without ever saying it. Kami didn't know. Kami's a god, and he didn't know. He just knew it was bad. Chi-Chi doesn't know. Bulma scanned it twice and got normal, 25 years, and finally somebody says the words, and the words come with a story. Once every 1,000 years or so, give or take. Not a technique, not a bloodline you can trace, just something that shows up in a Saiyan every so often the way a fault shows up in a mountain. And Goku asks the same question he asked Kami 8 years earlier. He's very calm about it, the way he was then. Is there a way to turn it off? And King Kai gives him a different answer. No. But there might be a way to steer. Here's the year, and I love this arc because everything about it is the opposite of what you've seen. The gravity doesn't do much. That's the first surprise, and it's a deliberate one. King Kai puts him under 10 times Earth's gravity, and Goku gets a bit better at it, and his actual power barely moves at all. A few thousand across the whole year, which is nothing. And King Kai works out why fairly fast, and it's the thesis of the entire series. This man's strength was never his problem. You don't fix a man with no ceiling by raising his floor. There's no version of get stronger that helps here. He came in at 80,000 and he'll leave at 95, and the difference is rounding. So King Kai stops trying to make him bigger and starts trying to give him controls, Kaioken first. And forget everything you know about what it's for. Strip it down to mechanism, and Kaioken is one thing: deliberate, incremental, dialable escalation. Times 2, times 3, hold it, bring it back down, on command, by choice, in increments you pick. That is precisely, exactly, to the letter, the one thing Goku has never been able to do in his entire life. He has a suppressed state, and he has a detonation, and there has never been a single thing in between. No middle, no dial, just a lock and a door. Kaioken is the first dial anybody has ever handed him, and it's also a key, and King Kai knows it, and teaches it anyway, because think about what feeds the climb. Escalation, resistance, push. And a Kaioken is deliberate escalation. It's the exact input the engine responds to, applied on purpose, by hand. Times 2 is fine. Times 2 is comfortable. He can sit there all day. Times 3, and he can feel something on the other side of the door lean against it. King Kai never gets him past 3 in training and won't let him try. He says it plainly. This is a dial and a detonator in the same housing, and the numbers on it stop meaning what they say somewhere around 4. Use it low, use it short. Come back down. That is, for the record, terrible safety advice to give somebody, and it's also the best available option, and both of those things are true at once. Then the Spirit Bomb, and I want to slow down here, because this is the emotional center of the entire first half of the series, and it's very easy to blow past it. Every single thing this man has ever done with his own hands has hurt somebody. Not metaphorically, concretely. His power killed his grandfather. His power took a city off the map and put Roshi through 3 walls. His power killed him and orphaned his son and left his wife looking at an empty sky. 25 years and every scrap of strength he's ever generated has cost somebody something. And then a small blue man on a small round planet teaches him an attack that is not his. That's the whole thing. You put your hands up and you ask, and the grass gives you a little, and the trees give you a little, and people who don't know you're alive give you a little, and you hold it, carefully, gently, because it isn't yours, and it only works at all if your heart is clean. King Kai teaches it as a technique. Goku doesn't take it as one. Goku takes it as the first weapon he has ever been allowed to hold that isn't made out of the thing that killed his grandfather. He's better at it than anybody King Kai has ever taught. Obviously he is. A year on Earth. And it's the year everybody knows. Piccolo drags Gohan into the wilderness and starts making a fighter out of him. And there is something genuinely strange about that, which the story never quite says out loud, so I will. Piccolo is the only being alive who knows what killed Son Goku. He watched it happen from 12 meters away with one arm. And what he does with that information is take the man's 4-year-old son out into the desert and spend a year teaching him control, teaching him to be precise, to hold back, to not swing wild. He'd tell you it's practical. It isn't. Piccolo is doing the one thing he can think of to make absolutely certain this boy does not turn into his father, and he never tells him why. Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Shiatsu train under Kami. Everybody's ready. Nobody's ready. I'm gonna keep this tight because you've seen it, and because the point of it isn't the fighting. The point of it is that Goku isn't there. That's the whole arc, really. Earth's monster is dead. Dead by his own hand, on a hill, because there was nothing left to fight. And the planet spends the worst day of its history discovering exactly what it's like to not have him, Yamcha and the Saibamen. Chiaotzu on like Nappa's back, Tien with one arm, walking forward anyway, and Piccolo in front of Gohan. Piccolo takes that blast for a 5-year-old and dies in the dirt, and he says the thing he says, and it lands like it always lands. It also does something else. He takes the secret with him. The only witness to what happened on that hill is now dead, and Gohan is going to keep believing a Saiyan killed his father, and there's nobody left to say otherwise. For a while. And because Piccolo dies, Kami dies. And because Kami dies, the Dragon Balls turn to stone with a body count of 5 sitting on the table. Which is why anybody ends up on Namek. Same as always. Some machinery you don't touch, then Goku shows up. Revived, back up, Snake Way. 1 year of the strangest training anybody's ever completed. And I'm not going to sell you a fight here because there isn't one, and pretending otherwise would be an insult to everybody watching. Nappa is 4,000. Goku is 95,000. It's over in under a minute and it is not satisfying. It's clinical. It's a man doing a job he has done his entire life, which is ending things on the first exchange, and doing it well and feeling nothing much about it. Krillin and Gohan are standing there and Krillin's crying and Gohan is looking at his father with an expression Goku doesn't like, and it's over. Vegeta doesn't even flinch when Nappa dies. He just gets more interested, and Vegeta is 18,000. Let's be adults about it. 18,000 against 95 is not a fight either. The Prince of all Saiyans, the man who came here for immortality because a scouter reading frightened him, gets comprehensively handled in his own base form by a farmer. And the audience should be allowed to see it plainly rather than watch me pretend otherwise for 10 minutes. He knows it inside 20 seconds. That's the important part. Vegeta figures out that he is outclassed by a factor he can't close, and then he does what Vegeta always does, which is get creative. He fires the ball into the sky. Great Ape Vegeta is 180,000, and that's the first thing in this entire story that is genuinely, straightforwardly above Son Goku. Now, the obvious answer is Kaioken. He's got a dial. Times 2 takes him to 190, times 3 to 285, and it's done. And Goku doesn't reach for it because he can feel exactly what that dial is connected to. King Kai told him. He's felt something lean on the door at times 3 on a quiet planet with nobody around, and he is now standing on a battlefield with his son 40 meters away, and a dead friend in the dirt, and a monster the size of a building coming toward him. So he tries the other thing first. He puts his hands up. And that's the moment I think this whole series has been building to without saying so. He's got a way to win that isn't his. That's the entire point of it. He's spent his life being a danger to everybody in a 100-kilometer radius. And here is a solution made out of borrowed energy that will cost nobody anything at all. And he goes for it, and I want you to notice how badly he wants it to work. Krillin sees what he's doing and gets Gohan back. The sky starts to change, and Great Ape Vegeta does not wait. Because gathering takes time. It always takes time. That's the whole shape of the technique. You ask, and things answer, and it isn't fast. And the thing coming at him is 30 meters of aggression with no patience in it whatsoever, and absolutely no interest in what's happening above him. He has to drop it, half-formed. 10 seconds short. The light goes out over the battlefield, and the borrowed energy goes back where it came from, and Son Goku is standing in a crater with empty hands. The clean way existed. There just wasn't time for it. That's not a failed technique. That's his entire life in one shot. And if you take nothing else from this part, take that. So he uses the dial ×2. It holds. It's fine. He's not winning, but he's not dying, ×3. And it's close now, close enough that the ape is bleeding, close enough that this could actually go somewhere, and also close enough that he can feel it. That pressure on the other side. Something on the far side of the door putting its weight against it, while he stands there, deliberately raising his own power in increments, feeding the exact input the thing was built to answer. He should stop. King Kai told him to stop. The ape has his son in its field of view, ×4. And the door doesn't get opened, it comes open from the other side. That's the important distinction, and it's the second time in 3 parts. He didn't choose it on that hill either. He reached for speed and overshot. Here he reaches for one more increment, and the increment goes through the wall, the dark hair, the red. The frame and a half of gold that nobody watching is fast enough to register. Then green, Great Ape Vegeta is 180,000, and he lasts about as long as you'd expect. There's a point maybe 15 seconds in where the thing on the ground stops being a monster and starts being a very frightened man in a giant body, and then the tail goes, and the body goes with it. And Vegeta is lying in a crater with a broken everything, human-sized, coughing blood into the dust, 8 seconds from dead. Maybe less. And here's where it happens. Goku shuts it, standing over him. With the job unfinished, and the man who killed Yamcha and Chiaotzu and Tien lying at his feet, and the whole thing right there. He shuts it, and I want to be precise about when, because it matters. He doesn't do it while the ape is up. That would be suicide, and you'd all clock it instantly. He does it after. The ape's down, the immediate threat is gone, and now there's a broken man on the ground, and Goku can feel the next rung coming underneath him because it's still going. That's the thing. It doesn't care that the fight's over. It never has. It's already looking for the next thing to push against, and it is about 90 seconds from settling on the only candidate left, exactly like it did on the hill, so he lets go. He steps back, and he stands there in the dirt breathing while the Prince of All Saiyans drags himself across the ground toward his pod, and he does not stop him. It is not mercy. It has nothing to do with Saiyan curiosity or wanting a rematch or any of the reasons you know. It's arithmetic. Another 30 seconds in that state is worse than whatever Vegeta does with the rest of his life. That's the sum. He does it about 1.5 seconds, and he's right. And it is the first time in this entire story that restraint is a decision made under pressure rather than a rule somebody taught him when he was 11. Krillin picks up Yajirobe's sword. He's standing over Vegeta, and he has every reason in the world. And everyone he's ever loved is dead in a field behind him, and he looks at Goku. And Goku says no. He doesn't explain. He can't. There's no version of I need him gone from here before I do something worse than he did that comes out right. And Goku has never in his life been good with words. So it just sounds like weakness. The pod goes up. And Krillin is standing there with a sword he didn't get to use, and Gohan is looking at his father, and Goku is the only person on that battlefield who knows why, and he doesn't say it. Everybody hates him for it. Not forever. But that day, standing in that field, with 4 bodies and no Dragon Balls and the man responsible in the sky, every single person there thinks Son Goku did something unforgivable, and he lets them. That's part 3. Goku has brakes now, which is new. He has a dial that doubles as a detonator, and a weapon that doesn't belong to him, and a name for what he is, which he'd been going without for 25 years. He also has a body count he didn't cause, and a friend in the ground who died holding the only secret that mattered. And a son who watched him let a murderer fly away. Next time, Namek. And I'll be straight with you about part 4, because I think it's the best one in this series, and I don't want to undersell it. Goku wins. He goes up against Frieza, and he climbs, and he genuinely, completely, decisively wins. The strongest being in the universe. Finished. No ambiguity, no last-second escape. And it is the worst thing that has ever happened to him, because he tries the clean way first. He tries the way that doesn't cost anybody anything, the way King Kai gave him, and he throws it with everything he has in front of everyone he loves. And it isn't enough. And everything that happens to that planet afterwards happens because of that. Part 4. See you there.